Now I will show you how to work with the plugin, Tutorial Widget Runtime. I created a test widget. Let's open it. Here I have added buttons. In fact, they are not tied to anything, but we do not need their functionality. Firstly, I want to display this widget at the start of the game. To do this, I will go to the blueprint of our map. And here I have already prepared a small code. Create widget, where we specify our widget with buttons. Next, this block just hides everything, print strings, and then I just limit FPS to 120. All this is done for convenience. Now if we click on the play button, our widget will appear at the start of the game. Now I want to create the first lesson for an element in the widget. To do this, I go to the search and write tw_create tutorial. Drag it to our widget. Great, it is in this widget that all the settings of this lesson will take place. I want to start the lesson with a minimap. To do this, I drag our widget, which creates a lesson, over the minimap element. For convenience, I will rename our create tutorial widget because I don't want to get confused in the names. Great, now to see the preliminary result, I click on the show result button. Now I see the results in edit time. Click on the hide button to disable it. Let's run the game to see what we got. We see that nothing is happening. To activate the tutorial when starting the game, we must go to the active start section, set true, to begin play active. Now we see the result. But I would like to change the round mask to a square one. To do this, I go to the tw_render tab. I open the mask section. And then I choose a ready-made, square mask. You have it too. Let's click on show result again to see the result. If the mask looks uneven, you can manually correct it, which is what I'll do now. Great, now I want to add an event when a button and a sensor are pressed. To do this, I will go to the tw_action to complete section, and select click from the list. Now if we click on an area where our mask does not overlap the screen, the tutorial will automatically complete. I'll try to click on the mask area, and I see that nothing happens. But as soon as I click on the tutorial area, everything will end. Next I want to add a text block. I go to tw_text message, set the variable to true to activate the text. Now, to see the text, you need to click on show result again. We don't see the text because it goes beyond the screen. Let's reset the transform settings to see the text. Now we see the text. Now you need to select a position for the text by changing the transform parameter. Next I will change the text by going to the appropriate section. I'm changing the title text. And I also change the description. There are also additional parameters for text, we will return to them later. Let's look at the result. Great, we see the text. Now I want to add another text that will appear after the first text. To do this, I click on the plus, thereby adding another text. I won't change it. If I look at the result, I still see the first text. To switch the text to the next one, we must specify a parameter in the action for continue. Accordingly, now on a mouse click, we will not close to the tutorial, but will switch the text to the next one. And the widget will close after the last text appears on the screen. Great, we see that when clicked the text switched. Now if I click again, the widget will close because the last text has been displayed on the screen. In the last text, the action for continue parameter is not taken into account, since the text is the last. But we can always set none for any text. We also have additional parameters for text, such as setting the font or text size. I think everything is clear here. We can also control the text animation, turn it on or print the text right away. Set animation speed. And here, we change the parameter that selects how the text box will increase. Top down or bottom up. Now I want to add another tutorial, for the move button. We repeat the previous steps and drag another tw_create tutorial. Move to the desired position and see the result. This way, we can switch the display of the result on each widget. But at the same time we can see the result only on one widget. If text displays or other debug elements bother you, you can hide them. Now I want to rename the widget, because there can be many of them, and the naming order must be maintained. I will place the tutorial widget under the button. I do this for convenience, it does not affect anything specific. Now I want to create sequential activation of widgets. To do this, I go to the first widget to specify the necessary parameters for it. Go to the Action End section. Here we see the next widget active tab. Now I activate a function that will launch the following widget. In the list, we must select the widget that we want to activate next. Here it came in handy for us to be able to name files correctly. Great, the next widget is activated. But as we remember, to close a widget, you need to specify an action that will cause the widget to close. But now, I want to add a hand animation, and the user will need to repeat the animation to close the widget. To do this, I go to the animation section. Next is the hand section. Here we activate the hand animation. Let's get a look. We see 2 points A and B. An animation of the hand will move along them. Let's see what it will look like. We can also swap the points. Click play and see the result. Great. Let's change the animations a little. Great. We have a wide range of animation settings. Here you should experiment to get the result you want. Now I want to close the widget when the player repeats the animation. To do this, go to the Action to Complete section and select Move as Animation. Now I need to repeat the animation. Great, the widget is closed. Also, we can specify how accurately we should repeat the animation. Initially, the number for accuracy is 35. The lower the number, the more accurately we must follow the animation. But in fact, the standard value is optimal. Let's add a third widget. Let's do the same steps as before. Let's not forget about the name. Now I want the second widget to activate the last one. To do this, we also go to the next widget active section inside the second widget and specify the widget we need for the sequence. Now I want to see what the third widget looks like as a result. As we can see, our widget is slightly larger than the button itself. Let's fix the size. To do this, go to the Render section. As we can see, our widget is not where it was originally. This is because we did not set anchors. As we can see, with our anchors button in the bottom corner, In the widget, we need to do the same. Great, everything works. Now I want to add a hand animation. To do this, I also go to the animation section and the hand subsection. Let's see what the animation will look like. Initially, the animation moves the hand. But I want to simulate pressing a button. Let's set the necessary parameters. To do this, I will reset point A and B to the same position. Now I will change the size and rotation values. In this way, we made an animation that will resemble pressing a button. Now I specify that the player must press the button twice to complete this tutorial. Great, after double-clicking on the last widget, it closed. Now I want to add a tutorial to the bottom panel. We repeat the actions familiar to us. Let's set the anchors to the position we need. Now I'm changing the mask from round to square. But as we can see, the sizes do not fit. Let's fix it. To do this, we need to change the transform masks. We also need to change the transform for the button. If I press Show Result, I will see the borders of the button. We need to stretch it to fit the size of the mask. We can change the sizes proportionally, or change transform, so we can make the button not proportional. Now, I will indicate that the player must hold the button to complete the tutorial. We set the retention time here. Now let's set the activation sequence as we did it before. Great, after a little holding of the button, the widget closed. Let's change the actions to close the widget. Now we can click anywhere on the screen and the widget will close. Great. In fact, there are many more settings here than we saw. But they are all intuitive and divided into groups. And we showed you the basic settings. Also, for convenience, we added event dispatchers so that you can customize your tutorial in more detail through blueprints. We have also prepared ready-made blocks for interaction with our plugin. To display all blocks, just write TW. We have interaction through tags. Tag for each widget is located in the corresponding section. We hope that the plugin will help simplify your work and make your game even better.